This energy reading and healing is focusing on the fear of not being liked. And that may include things like people pleasing, feeling like an outcast, being overlooked, uh, limiting yourself or stopping yourself from doing certain things because you're worried about whether people will like you, letting people down, which then leads to the fear of people not liking you. It may create overt behaviors where you're not overly putting yourself out to help people or do things with this sort of underlying fear, whether it's conscious or not, that will make them like you. So that's what we're going to explore and dig into today. Hello, my name is Rebel Black, and I am a human agronomist and metaphysical muse gifted with the art of guiding people to experience their deepest desires, to move through their pain, and live as their most enlivened, energetic expression. In this session, I shall be guiding you through a protocol called forensic healing with the pure intention for you to experience energetic alignment and healing as a result of this experience. Of course, healing can only occur when all parties involved in the healing space take full responsibility for their own well-being and when they also believe that healing can occur. I want you to know that I have full faith that whatever it is that you are listening to this to resolve, heal, or clear can be achieved, and whatever messages, memories, or insights you gain today, you are ready to receive, and it will be in your highest good to heal and activate. I want you to know that you are safe in this healing. So please make sure you are in a place where you feel safe. Forensic healing does not promote the functions of medical diagnosis or prescribed medication. So please consider what is explored in this session as general in nature and seek further medical support from a qualified physician should you feel the need to. I like to describe forensic healing as a tool that helps identify, make sense of, and get to the root cause of any patterns that have played a big role in our life but are now limiting us, and to heal that pattern once and for all. Most healing is symptom focused, but forensic healing gets to the truth and heals forward and backwards in our lineage, allowing us to be free and for us to experience life in new ways. It is particularly useful for healing the root cause of any symptoms you might be experiencing in your life, including in relationships, career, finances, physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being, and in your life in general. As I work through this healing protocol, I shall be using a number of different scan lists to identify the key aspects of the case. You may hear me counting numbers, or there may be periods of silence. What I'm doing in those moments is using muscle testing to tune into the correct information on the scan list as it relates to your case in particular. The information I share as we move through the protocol may trigger particular memories for you. Trust that these memories are clues to the pattern and are often your first or one of your first experiences of the pattern in your life. And I want you to know that if something is triggered for you and you feel deeply or strongly as a result, you won't experience the feeling for long if you really allow yourself the time and space to feel the feelings that come up and continue to move through with the healing. This protocol works really effectively and quickly. And I want you to remember you can pause this recording at any time and take notes, express the emotion, move your body, but I do recommend that you listen to the whole session in one sitting. It is now time to set your intention for this healing. What is it that you are here to be guided on? Is there something that is causing you distress or discomfort that you want to explore or shift? Is there a bigger intention you are looking for, or are simply trusting you will be guided? Please note this down somewhere so you can refer to it at the end. Our relationship to our body is really important in healing, as it provides messages, and we use it as a way to identify whether our healing work is having an effect. So, for your reference, please note down the answers to the next few questions, as we will refer to them at the end of the healing. So, can I ask that you please now tune into your body and scan with your mind's eye to see if there are any areas of discomfort or disharmony. Identify where the sensation is and give the sensation a rating out of 10. 0 being barely noticeable and 10 being incredibly sensational. I'm now going to invite you to get to know this sensation a bit better. Please just trust that the first thing that comes to mind is the right thing, even if it seems odd. When you tune into the sensation, what shape is it? Does it have color? What color is it? Is it moving or static? And what feeling or emotion does it tell you it is? Now we are ready to heal. I've already opened the healing case, so we will move straight into the forensic healing protocols. So please make sure that you're comfortable, in a place you won't be disturbed, and perhaps you have some water and tissues nearby. Enjoy. So the first thing that tests up in this healing around the fear of not being liked is the archetype of the warrior. And the warrior, seeks justice, fights other people's battles, is very much that, I would say, in that rescuer element. So, and it's that very much, going into battle for other people. I must do what I need to do to save others, to rescue others. The two life patterns that showed up were letting go and power. And those two things it's really curious that letting go comes through, because it's really about hurtful things being done to you and you hanging on to them. Dwelling on what was said and what people did weighs you down, and it affects your emotions, relationships, and health. You're here to let go and release those things that have hurt you and caused you pain, and to find the message instead in why they occurred. And when you learn to let them go, you'll attract less of the same pattern in your life. So the message is to learn exactly that. Release, let go, move forward in your life, and understand that you are not a victim and that you now have choices. The following affirmations, when these times of stress come up, is: I choose to let go. Thank you for reminding me to let go. Realize that negativity you hang on to affects you and attracts more of this negativity into your life. So that stands true at, the fear of not being liked. It's probably true that we would be afraid of not being liked, mostly because we've had the experience of not being liked and it hurt and we felt bad. But what we're doing with that is holding on to it, and then that's just continuing to attract either people not liking you or you limiting your life and not putting yourself out there because you have this fear. And then, of course, it becomes a power play. And if we think about the warrior as the archetype, that fighting for others and the battle, it is this power, this power grab. So it means you're affected by other people's behavior and negative situations, and you often blame yourself for how others feel or react. So you take responsibility, as if it's your responsibility for whether people like you or not. You allow others to dictate how you should be and what you should do. And we're doing that by not doing certain things because we're afraid people won't like us, or doing certain things because we're afraid if we don't, people won't like us. You can see there's a real power dynamic going on here, and it leads to low self-esteem and feelings of inadequacy and discomfort. And it leads to more disempowering experiences. The statements are: I choose to feel empowered. Thank you for reminding me to empower myself. And so that's a really interesting that actually we're a real craving for power in this situation where we're doing or not doing because we really want people to like us. The emotion that came through was around guilt, and the opposite of guilt is freedom. And so if we didn't care whether people liked us or not, and this is not about being not a nice person, but it's just whether people like you or not is irrelevant in your life, you would have complete and utter freedom. But if you're constantly judging yourself and you're constantly limiting yourself, or you're always, maybe not doing things that you really wanted to because you're afraid of the consequence that people won't like you, now you just feel guilty a lot of the time. You feel guilty about things you said and did. And, have you ever had that kind of rote going on in your mind where you're just second guessing and judging everything you said? Oh, I shouldn't have said that. And, what if that, what if they don't like me because I said those things? Now you're just existing in a state of guilt. And really it is that power dynamic. We're hanging on to it. It keeps us stuck in that state. And we're in this power dynamic, like we're trying to control how other people feel about us by adapting our behavior and changing who we are and how we are because we're so afraid of being liked. So it's unsurprising that the belief system that came through was around power. And so this need for control and power is really limiting you at the moment. And it's like you're trying to, this fear of not being liked is actually a power play. And so it's time for that to shift. The age that came through was age 7. So if any memory or story comes up around that particular age of 7, it's probably a time in life where we're starting to really understand our separation, ourselves as separate selves. And so it is likely that we're becoming more aware of that other people have opinions about us and that matters. You know, we're probably starting to observe our parents with different eyes and in different environments. So age 7 is when it comes through at this very first archetype of the warrior fighting other people's battles, not, fear of not being liked first coming in, not being able to let that go, really making that, something to be afraid of. And this power dynamic, like we must be controlled in the way we are so that we can control how other people perceive us, that they like us. So some more information that came through is that it's here because of a soul plan and mind control. And so that is a little bit about probably more so what we're trying to do to others through our behavior and our action, that we're trying to control their minds, that they must like us, that we're doing things in our life so people like us. That's a very people-pleasing. Also where we might, maybe, for example, not ask for help because we don't want to put people out because we're afraid they won't like us if we do. Or that we're perceived as being demanding or annoying even, and that we're worried if we are those things that people won't like us. And what are we deeply afraid of if people won't like us? We're afraid of being ostracized and booted out of the tribe, and that we won't, that we'll be on our alone, and that we won't be safe. And so there's very sort of primal fears around the need to be liked, but in this modern context, it's really just a power play and controlling other people's minds. Our inability to let things go also came through again. And in the auric field, in the energy field of the aura, it came through as the soul's purpose. And in the solar plexus, in the chakra, it came through as self-identity. And so what we're really exploring in this situation is that our fear of not being liked actually starts with ourselves. Our self-identity is not strong, and that we're a bit wobbly on whether we like ourselves even or not, and whether we're judging harshly and in that power dynamic between aspects of ourselves that are judging who we are and how we are in the world. It also came through at a time and a period of unemployment. It came through as a spiritual impact within a social environment and emotional abuse. And there was, the reason for it was revenge. And it was actually our soul that was impacted, really deep soul wounding. So it maybe came through as a period of being unemployed, or where there's some judgment around being unemployed, as in, if you're unemployed, you won't be liked, that there's judgment there, that there's this sort of, that you're in a social environment and you can see there's emotional abuse of, like, you're lazy and you're a burden on the system, and, that you're not worth anything if you're in that unemployed state, and that there's a real emotional abuse and a manipulation going on there. And then that, what the soul has attributed that to is not being likable. And the only way you can be liked is if you're, in gainful employment, or you're, contributing via the work format, rather than you just being of value and being likable because you are you. which is really what we want to activate in this healing. So the first thing that we want to do is, when we move to the healing state, is just really honor ourselves, honor the past, honor all of these stories, these ideas, these manipulations, send them love. If there is a particular story or memory that's come through for you, just allow yourself to feel whatever comes up around that. If it's sadness, if it's grief, it's anger and rage, if it's, frustration, if you do just get that real fear, like if you can feel that palpable fear, just, really soften into your body and let yourself feel whatever it is that's showing up. Because that's the most important thing in these healings and readings, is that we feel what's there to be felt so that it can be released, so that you can actually let it go from your energy field and move into a new and different state. So I'm going to ask you also, is it time? Are you ready to let this archetype of the warrior and fighting other people's battles and not being able to let things go and being in a power dynamic and trying to control how other people perceive you and feeling guilty all the time? Are you ready and willing to let those go? And if you are, please proclaim, yes, I am ready to heal these things. And if not, maybe pause the video until you can find the yes within you to heal these things, and then come back to the stage of healing. So the parasitic entity voice is the first thing that we're going to heal in this moment. And it came through as an increased intensity of the voices when they're ignored. So when you ignore the voices in your mind, they get louder and more intense. And so that might be where you're going through a period of, just doing what you're doing, and you're ignoring all of the mind chatter that we all have. And that means that there's an increased intensity of these voices because you're ignoring them. And what they're saying is, don't try anything new, as you will fail. Don't try anything new, as you will fail. And what happens when you fail? You might not be liked. You might not be liked, and then all of the other consequences that come from that. And so it keeps you in this loop of not trying new things, of not putting yourself out there, of not taking risks, because you can see energetically and in this subconscious or unconscious habit or pattern that it will lead to you not being liked. And you have a deep fear of that currently. And so that's it's just this loop, self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's what we're going to heal today. So you're going to repeat these statements after me. Please speak them with conviction and passion and like you mean it, because you do. And where I say my name, you say yours. We will begin. I rebel, cancel, void, and reject the parasitic demonic entity causing the effect of increased intensity of the voices when they get ignored. I rebel, reject and refuse the lies the parasitic entity voices tell me, not to try anything new, as I will fail. I acknowledge these lies and deception of the parasitic entity and reclaim control over my mind, thoughts, sovereignty, birthright, and divinity. I reclaim the truth that I can try anything I like, that failure doesn't matter as long as I learn, that I can try anything new and be okay to fail, and that I can try anything new and be willing to succeed, and I can try anything new and be willing to thrive. And what other people think of me is none of my business. And I let go the fear and the need to be liked. I reclaim the truth that I am likable. I reclaim the truth that I don't need other people to like me to be who I am. I close all harmful portholes, gateways, grid systems, stargates, and access routes to my energy field, and refuse any demonic or parasitic entity access to my mind, body, and soul. I choose to live as a sovereign, powerful, divine being and only accept information and connection from the pure, organic source energy. I choose to live in oneness with humanity from this point forward. I am blessed and I am free. Take a big, deep breath. We're going to shake that out big time. We're going to shake it out of our bodies, paying particular attention to the parts of yourself where you are experiencing high sensation, the beginning of this healing. We're going to really shake this out. Make sure you get into all the bits, the feet, the fingers, the hips, the belly, the heart. Give yourself a shimmy and a shake. Woohoo! Yeah! I am who I am. We want this to release from our energy field. We'll keep going till we get an energy shift. Right, there we go. Well done. Bringing yourself back to stillness. Whew. Got me going. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is a spiritual soul peace activation. Now, this pathway accesses the primordial energy from the solar body of light to restore spiritual peace, removes chaos, anxiety, dysfunction, and anti-life programming stored in the cell's soul and consciousness. It includes soul connection to the celestial birth chart, closes harmful portals that siphon source energy, and rewrites the soul's blueprint for peace and freedom. And it's going to also clear past life traumas, trauma imprints. Now, that could be past life in any way you interpret that. So everyone's got different interpretations of past life. It might just mean, earlier versions of yourself in this lifetime when you were younger, for example, or it might include, past life traumas from, the lives that we've lived before. It just depends on what your belief system is. But it indicates the soul's past life trauma is carried into each life, and the trauma repeats itself as the soul can split and carry the imprints of trauma. There's also a lot of work that's been done around transgenerational trauma, and that there's, ancestral lineage. The trauma of people, our family members before us, can also be living within us. So we're healing that as well. We're focusing on it to the age of 7 because that's the one that tested up. So just take some nice big deep breaths as you listen to these words. Accessing all levels of advanced consciousness, advanced dimensions, the guardians and enlightened beings, I, Rebel, request the removal and cancellation of the soul past life trauma imprints for you, for your soul, spiritual soul peace activation through access to the powers of the sun, life force and energy, access to the primordium of the soul, solar body of light, balance, repair and alignment of your heart rate, health and rhythm, connection to your celestial birth chart of the Angelus, cancellation and removal of soul-forced recycling trapped in the astral plane, cancellation of the counterfeit schematics earth blueprint, cancellation of AI anti-life reversal, cancellation and removal of energy portholes siphoning your soul consciousness energy. If you can just place your fingers, put them all together like a little family of fingers, and place both hands with all your fingers together on the center of your heart, so between your breasts or on your chest center. And we're just going to send energy into our hearts until we feel the energy shift. Just keep taking nice big deep breaths. And repeat again after me. When I say my name, you say yours. I, Rebel, confirm my soul's peace activation and coding through the removal of the soul past life trauma imprints relating to the age of 7. I confirm my soul and DNA is coded for humanity, peace, and connected to my life, my organic life force. I choose to be free, sovereign, and to live in oneness with humanity from this point forward. Take some big, deep breaths and release. We'll now move to a DNA healing and close the case. Just take some nice grounding breaths as you listen to these words. I request healing sound frequencies to reconnect and realign your DNA, RNA, chromosomes, wormholes, nucleotides, hypercommunication. I request the purification and cleansing process of white and gold, pure organic light, dissolve all negative energies and attachments from you, from myself, from this room, from this building, from this surrounding area, and anything or anyone affected by this healing. I request closure and disabling of harmful portals, gateways, channels, stargates, NAA firewalls, and access routes to other dimensions and realities, controlling, interfering, or siphoning your soul and energy life force. I confirm the etheric, astral, mental, and causal light bodies are cleansed and strengthened, and all Sephirotic healing forces are activated and connected to the organic, pure, white light source for the opening of the crystal rose heart and activation of your diamond sun body. I confirm and invoke the Christ consciousness light and request the guardians and angels to pour blessings upon you for all the things you require to obtain soul freedom and sovereignty. I ask they guide and protect you and lead you on a path of empowerment to assist with the evolution of your soul and humanity. I ask that healing may continue throughout this time and that you may always know you are of divine, infinite worth and hold the power and choice for your transformation. I confirm these requests have taken place and this healing is complete. As you re-enter the full experience of your body and surroundings, please just tune back into your body and particularly into the sensation you identified at the beginning of the healing. What's the rating now? Has it shifted? What is the shape and color? And what feeling is attributed now? If you think about the issue that you came in to heal, what's your experience of it? Whatever it is, that is perfect. It may be similar or the same or completely different. Perhaps the sensation is gone altogether. just know that the healing is complete. Sometimes it takes a little while for our person to catch up with the healing that's already been done. So please be kind to yourself always, but particularly so over the next 48 hours or so. Drink plenty of water, ground yourself by eating nourishing foods, whole grains and vegetables, and move your body to support any further shifting that wants to be had. Our energetics can shift quickly, but sometimes our body and our behavior takes a bit to catch up. So please just pay attention to that and reach out into the Wild Women group if you require any support to enhance your integration. Remember, you are love and you are a powerful co-creator in your life, and you are here to be enlivened and to have fun. May you bloom where you are. May your bower be blessed. And may you always know your wild worth.